Well, good morning, everybody. I think it's morning, Joe.
Still is.
We're here in the Pepsi Center. We welcome you to Blues Game Day Live. We've got the Blues. We've got the Avalanche tonight. That's an 8:30 face-off. From the Pepsi Center, Darren Pang. He's got the night off. Those TV guys get a break today. The game will be on NBC Sports Network on the TV side. And, of course, 101 ESPN on the radio side. Before we get into the nitty-gritty of today's thing, I think we got to figure something out to help Joe out here. What are the rule of thumbs on how you handle waking up early in a hotel because somebody's got their dog barking?
Oh, that happened this morning. You're on the same floor as me.
What do you do there? And if you are the owner of the dog, don't you have a responsibility to shut up your dog?
I think you do. But how do you do that? That's always hard. I think you're allowed maybe 1, 2, 3 barks at most. At that point, if I still can't sleep, I always bring earplugs with me on the road now for that reason. If I still having a little bit of trouble, that's when I probably would
make... How many barks was it this morning?
It was probably 3 at 5 a.m. Woke me up. But what was a good thing, though?
By the third bark, you've got the responsibility to take your dog outside.
Yeah. I agree.
If you have a dog that barks and you bring it into a hotel, you have the responsibility to take the dog outside as a respect to all the guests, right? Is that a rule?
This dog was probably the size of a dinosaur, but you said it was just small.
No, I saw it. It was a small little dog. Those things have a lot of bark in them.
It was like, woof, woof. It was like a deep, like Chris Kerber bark. But it was good because I got up. And I had a chance to go to the gym then. I had to work off the world's best burger, according to Chris Pinkert.
Yep.
We had last night in Denver. I got in the gym this morning. Chief, Otter, everyone's working out.
I did the Peloton bike for the first time.
How'd you like it?
It was an 80s ride. It kicked my butt.
I tell you,
it was quite impressive, Joe.
And we're in Colorado, so that
the altitude
will
was
get
there
you.
too. All right, well, speaking of trying to get into shape, the Blues finally lose a game to the Western Conference. Boy, that's been rare. They're on a stretch of 12 consecutive games against the West. And the Arizona Coyotes, for the second time this season, snapped the Blues win streak. They snapped the one of 7 games. Now they snapped one of 8 games. A chance for the Blues to get right back into saddle. You mentioned the altitude. That's one challenge always when you come to Colorado. The other challenge is, of course, just the Colorado Avalanche. But, man, have we seen some great games between these two teams who would continue to battle for the top spot in the Central.
Well, great games indeed. I mean, in this building last year, one of my favorite games of last season was when Colton Parayko scored that goal in overtime. You know, you look to that last game, you mentioned the Arizona Coyotes game, Kerbs, that snapped that 8-game win streak for the Blues here. Tyler Bozak spoke about it. Craig Berube spoke about it. The good news was the work ethic was there. They felt very good about the team and how they were working and how they were desperate, just execution-wise. Just a little off the mark there in that Arizona game. Look for that refocus here in tonight's game because it's going to need to be good. You mentioned the altitude, and this is a Colorado Avalanche team. When the games have been good, they've been good for a reason. You know, the St. Louis Blues do such a great job at shutting down the depth of the Colorado Avalanche and the depth. And just look at the multi-digit goals for the Colorado Avalanche right now. They have 7 players, multi-digits, and the Blues compare that just to 4 here for the St. Louis Blues. So they have a lot of depth. They can score goals. The Blues have frustrated them in the past, though, by having that tight, clog it up neutral zone style, forwards getting back and managing the pucks. Very important tonight's game, especially the offensive blue line.
Well, one of the aspects of the St. Louis Blues game that has been very successful, and by successful, you're never going to be perfect when you're playing the top talent in the league, but successful means is, for the most part, they've done a pretty good job of shutting down top players on the other teams, top lines. Sure, they may get some scoring chances. Yeah, they may get some point or two. But so far, top lines have not really run away with it against the St. Louis Blues.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is you look to the forwards. I know it's easy to look to the goaltending. It's easy to look to the defense. And, of course, they're big parts of that as well. I'm not disregarding the fact that the defense and the goaltenders have been good because they've been great. I think, to me, though, from watching up top, we got that bird's eye view every game. And, Kerbs, when you see the Blues shut down Nathan McKinnon, when you see them shut down Connor McDavid's of the world or the Evgeny Malkin's, what is very clear and evident from up top is that high forward in the offensive zone. When you keep a high disciplined forward, when the other team gets the puck, which they will, and they start the attack the other way, that's when that high forward can track back hard. That's when they're getting back, they're helping the defenseman out. When you do that, the D are allowed to stand up at blue lines, have a tight gap, and that's that kind of clog the neutral zone style of hockey that is become so accustomed to the St. Louis Blues team that really ends up frustrating their opponents a lot.
All right, the St. Louis Blues have played 41 games, so that game in Arizona was officially the midway point of the season. Colorado has played 1 fewer game than the Blues. To give you an idea of just how important the timing, or how the timing of that last 8-game win streak run was, the St. Louis Blues, right about the middle of December, I think it was December 16th, right around there, they'd actually slipped to 1 point behind Colorado in the standings. and now they're coming in with an 8-point lead. On top of that, if you look at it, the Blues could play .500 hockey in the second half of the season and finish with 99 points. They really put together a spectacular title defense first half of this regular season.
They really did. I remember that game in December. We were at the Enterprise Center, and I remember before the game we were talking about whoever wins this game tonight will take over the Central, and that seemed just like yesterday. And you mentioned the cushion now the Blues have created for themselves by playing great hockey. Colorado Avalanche on the flip side, 1-4-1 in the last 6 games for them, so they're struggling. They're finding ways to lose games right now. To me, that's encouraging. But then you can kind of flip it around 2 curves, and you look at it how tight this Central Division is. As good as that cushion has been for the Blues, it shows you how quickly it can turn around. So it's always one of those mentalities for the Blues, and whenever you're playing good, you got to keep your foot on the gas, because as soon as you let up and you start to stretch, put up 3-4 losses together over a 5-6 game span, that's when other teams start creeping up. So it's going to be very important for the Blues here tonight to kind of continue that urgency, continue that consistency. It's important in this division especially.
Well, yeah, Dallas gets the victory in the Winter Classic yesterday. They fall down 2-0 to Nashville, and they come back and they win that one. You've seen Nashville, you've seen Minnesota climb into the potential wild card picture. The Central Division is there. One of the things where the Blues have been really good is avoiding any kind of a really long slide, and they'll try to get back at it today. So the game time tonight, again, 8:30 Central Time. That'll start with the Mitsubishi Electric pregame show at 7:30, followed by when the Blues take the ice with the BMW of West St. Louis pregame skate on the radio side. And that comes your way on 101 ESPN. And then, of course, on the television side, the game is on NBC Sports Network tonight. So we figured out what you do with dogs in the hotel. The workouts are out of the way. Now we just got to wait for the morning skate to end. And then we'll see a little hockey game before the Blues continue the road trip on the weekend in Las Vegas. Have a great day, everybody, and we'll talk to you tonight when the puck drops from the Pepsi Center.